Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk about this very interesting thing that is happening right now in the precious metals market. All right, gold just hit over $4,000 over the weekend. Okay, so that's $4,000 for 1 ounce of gold. All right, gold is climbing fast, and it feels like no one is talking about it. The media is not really talking about it. You know, they're being a little bit quiet about this. But gold is climbing fast. Why? Because the world is actually losing trust in the U.S. dollar. You know, in my last video, I kind of talked about that. You know, with Peter Schiff, and he's a great economist. I would suggest you guys take a look at that. About what is happening with gold and what gold really is and what is the meaning of it is. Okay, so whenever the world is losing trust in the U.S. dollar, or there's wars or there are rumors, people are going to flood to safe haven assets, and gold has always been that. Okay, for the rest of the world. All right, so now when you see these things are happening, when you see that the price of gold has hit all-time highs, maybe it's time, maybe you should be paying a little bit of attention to that. All right. Central banks from all over the world, from China to Russia, even some in Europe, are quietly buying massive amounts of gold. Now, why are they doing that? I mean, if the gold has no value, why are these countries and banks and central banks hoarding so many of it? All right. But here's the plain truth. They're not stacking gold just because, hey, we're just having a little fun here. All right. They are preparing for a future where the dollar's power isn't what it used to be. All right. So, don't take my word for it. Now, the question is, why is gold rising? Now, this is Ken Griffin. I don't know if you guys have heard of Ken Griffin. He is the CEO of Citadel. I mean, the guy's worth over $50 billion. I mean, he's a hedge fund manager. Citadel is like one of the largest hedge fund managers in the world, or in America. And so recently during a conference, and this is what he has to say. So I want to go ahead and play some of that for you guys.
Is substantially above target, and substantially above target in all forecasts for next year. I mean, it's part of the reason the dollar's depreciated by about 10% in the first half of this year. It's the single biggest decline in the US dollar in 6 months in 50 years. Gold is at record highs. And the appreciation in other dollar substitutes, to use that word loosely, in items like crypto, for example, is unbelievable. So we're seeing substantial asset inflation away from the dollar as people are looking for ways to effectively de-dollarize or de-risk their portfolios vis-a-vis U.S. sovereign risk.
Are you really seeing that?
No, just check the price of gold.
Well,
I mean, I don't have to look very hard.
It's a life of its own. Yeah.
What?
It's a life of its own, gold.
No, but it's a life of its own as you see sovereigns around the world, as you see central banks around the world, as you see individual investors around the world go, you know what? I now view gold as a safe harbor asset in a way that the dollar used to be viewed.
All right, guys, listen, when you see the supposed rich, the smartest people in the room and the richest people in the room are talking about gold and what it means, so that means they understand money. They know what is going on. So maybe we should be paying a little bit, the little people, maybe we should be paying attention to what this guy is saying. All right. So the reality of it is, when people get nervous, they buy gold. People or countries right now, they buy gold. And right now, the U.S. debt is exploding. I mean, the government shut down. All right. I mean, how do you think investors feel about that? Interest rates are staying way too high for way too long. All right. Washington is printing dollars like there's no tomorrow. Not only are they not printing dollars, now when it's time to come pay the bill, now they just shut the government down because they can't come up with a budget. All right. So all those kind of things is playing into this. All right. So when investors and nations see the dollar is weakening, they look for something that holds value no matter what is going on in the world, no matter what is happening. This thing is going to hold value. And that thing is gold. Unlike dollars, gold doesn't depend on government keeping promises, promissory note, or promise to pay you back. Gold is a hard asset, meaning it cannot be devalued overnight by political decisions. All right. So Donald Trump can just wake up tomorrow and put tariffs on gold. It doesn't work that way. All right. So that's why the price is surging. Whenever confidence in the global financial system drops, okay, central banks have been buying for decades. All right. And most countries held US dollars and US bonds as their safety net. All right. Like Ken Griffin just says, people used to go to gold when they like, hey, listen, they look at the US dollar as a safe haven asset, but now they no longer trust the dollar. They're not, that's not what they're doing right now. That's not the moves in most countries. Okay. But now major economies are switching gears. China, Russia, Turkey, and several other nations have been aggressively stockpiling gold over the past 2 years. Do they know something is coming? Why suddenly, I mean, countries like Turkey have always been buying gold. They also believe in gold, but they've just been aggressively buying it recently within the past 2 years. Is something coming that these countries are aware of that we're not aware of? Is there something maybe the government is lying to us about? Like, say, for example, the unemployment rate. All right, even countries that are allies or friendly to the United States are doing it quietly. Why? Because holding gold means that they don't have to depend entirely on the dollar. If sanctions hit or if the dollar loses value in global trade, they still have an asset every other country respects. Everyone respects gold, okay? No matter what your political stance is, they know what gold is, all right? This is a sign of a weak dollar. This is a weak dollar warning. When central banks buy more gold instead of dollars, it's a warning sign. They see a storm coming for the U.S. currency. The more gold they hoard, the less demand for dollars. And that can push the dollar down even faster. And then you add shutdown and you add tariffs on top of that, all right? For everyday Americans, a weak dollar means, I've said this many times, and I've done videos on this, okay? Weak dollar means higher prices, inflation. For imports, your goods, everything that gets imported is going to be more expensive. Oh, you want to travel? More expensive, okay? U.S. will lose influence and financial influence globally, all right? So the question maybe you should be asking yourself, should you buy gold? Should I buy gold? Well, look, listen, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do. You do whatever you like. But the question that maybe you should be asking yourself, and also too, like gold is not, it's not a get rich quick scheme. All right. This is not about, I'm going to buy gold and be wealthy. No, this is about preserving your purchasing power. All right. But the question you should be asking yourself that if you believe the dollar is going to face trouble ahead, if you think that more trouble is coming ahead for the dollar, and right now, actions of central banks suggest that, yes, they do. There will be trouble ahead. Maybe owning some gold could be your personal safety net. All right. So like I've said before, this is not a get rich quick scheme. You're not going to get rich overnight. This is not what this is. Okay. People who understand money understands this. This is about wealth preservation when the dollar loses value. That means gold prices are going to continue to go up as the US dollar loses value. Okay. So think of it like this. Central banks are playing defense. All right. And they have multi-billion-dollar reasons to prepare. Maybe, just maybe, you might want to play a little bit of defense too. So just a little something to think about, guys. But anyway, this is going to be all for today, guys. If you like this content, if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any thoughts on this, if you have anything to add, please leave that in the comment section below, and I will see you soon. Thank you.